Hey everybody, welcome to The Mountain Gamer. Today I'm going to show you a small expansion that I made for Runebound Third Edition. Now if you've never played Runebound Third Edition, it is an awesome game. It's an epic game where you are traveling across a huge map trying to explore and have adventures and have combat, and you're trying to pick up gold and trophies to learn skills, to buff yourself up, because at the end of the game you're going to be fighting a giant boss. It's an awesome game. And because it's awesome, my brain started going in a million directions, and I was like, I want to make an expansion for this, Of course I do, because I'm that guy. So what I wanted to do first was try to, we found that we would never have enough trophies to build the skill engine that you can have for your hero.
Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
So I wanted to make something with wild trophies. And then I was on the forums for Runebound 2nd Edition, which I've never played, and some guy was like, oh, I made an expansion where you can go off the map into the crypt or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, but okay. So I was like, okay, let's go into the caves or something like that. So that's what we did. So I have a deck of cards where your guy can stay on the map, but go into the caves beneath Terrinoth. And you can possibly, pick up trophies and pick up gold and gems and have adventures. And you know what? Let's just get into it right now, and I will show you how it plays. Alright, so here we are. I didn't set up the map or anything. This is just to give you a quick idea. It's I've got 20 cards here, all with the same back. As I was talking about, these trophies are wild. They're multi-use. So you can, once you gain this, you can spend it as a combat trophy or an exploration or a social. But anyway, let's just look at the rules for now. I'm going to put those up on screen. So beneath Terrinoth, there is a vast network of caves running under the land. Will you risk venturing into this uncharted labyrinth? So while you're on an uncivilized mountain hex, so any hex that's, mountainous and has no civilization, you may spend one action to enter the caves. Now, usually when we do that, we just lay the figure on its side just to show that you are in the caves. Now, things you can do in the caves. You can spend 2 actions to actually draw one of these cards here to travel the caves. And I have a little icon here to show that, because that icon is going to show up in these cards. Then what you can do, you can take a rest action, but only mountain or wild results will count when you're trying to heal yourself by rolling those terrain dice. While you're in the caves, you can learn a skill, as always. So that means, spending any of the trophies to learn a skill and put it on top there. After that, spend actions to trade with your party if they are in the caves with you. So you could enter the caves with, your party. There's not a really good reason to do that besides crossing the map faster. Because as you'll see under here, you can spend 1 action to exit the caves and place your figure or your party on any uncivilized mountain hex on the map, providing you have at least already resolved 1 cave card. So essentially, you could all go onto an uncivilized mountain hex, spend an action to enter the caves, spend 2 actions to interact with one of these cards, then spend 1 action to exit anywhere else on the map where you have an uncivilized mountain hex. So it is possible to cross the map a little bit quicker than if you had done it with just your moves. Now, as far as things that you cannot do in the caves, you cannot move, shop, train, or adventure. So basically draw adventure cards. That being said, some of these cards here will sometimes say, aha, you've met an enemy, draw an adventure card, a combat card. But anyway, okay, so that takes care of what you can't do in the caves. But you're going to have to exert a lot of the times, because most of these cards will have you be doing attribute tests. Now, usually in an attribute test, if you don't like the result that you have, you can exert to draw again. But the way my cards are done, you'll be exerting a lot. So I've changed a rule here, and it says when exerting, you may choose to suffer 1 damage instead of discarding 1 skill card. Doing so has the same effect as regular exerting. So you'll see, we'll flip some over, that'll become very clear. If you're in the caves and if you are ever defeated, you must take a rest action before doing anything else. And that will happen sometimes. You're stuck in the caves, you're at 0 health, you're still in the cave. So the only thing you can do is heal. And remember, when you heal, if you check the card on the other side, it says to do a rest action or to heal yourself, only mountain or wild results will count. So that can be tough. Next, your hero is considered to be on a uncivilized mountain hex for, game purposes. Here it says also, note, RE may still attack your figure. RE is roaming enemies. Now, roaming enemies is a variant that is on Board Game Geek. We play with it. I may show you some of that eventually. I tweaked it a little bit. Anyways, for now, don't worry about that. Now, cave trophies are wild. They count as any one type of trophy for other game purposes. So that's what I said. These things are worth any kind of trophy. And then gems, because not only will you be getting trophies, you will also find gold and also gems. So when you get gems, you can later go to any city and trade them for 1 action for 1.5 gold. So then essentially, like for example, you pick up 3 gems. Well, later in the game, you'll go to a city and trade these 3 gems for 3 times 1.5. Rounded up would be 5. So now your 5 gems are worth 5 gold. Pretty sweet. And also it says cave cards effects only apply to the active player. So even if you're a team or a party, if good stuff or bad stuff happens here, it's, it happens only to you. So with that, let's look at some of these cards. So for example, let's say, okay, I spent an action to go in the cave and now I'm spending 2 action to encounter something in the cave. So I'll put that one up on screen. Malicious Miner. A stubborn dwarf blocks your way, insisting that this gem patch is his. And before you can try to explain yourself, he starts insulting your entire race. Okay. Test strength to beat some sense into the little bastard once and for all. So, if you look here, it says 0 results. You would lose 1 gem or 2 gold and suffer 2 damage. 1 result, gain 1 gem. 2 results, gain trophy. 3 results, gain trophy plus 2 gems. Okay, so let's see how this works. Now, of course, what I'd like to get is the best one, like, 3 successes to gain a trophy and get 2 of these gems, but let's try it. So I gotta test strength. My strength is 2 right now, so I gotta pull 2 cards over here, so let's do that. Okay, that's nothing, and okay, success. So I have 1 success, which means I would gain 1 gem. Now, maybe I'm not happy with that. Maybe I want to get the top, the top option here. So I could exert to keep drawing. Now, in a regular game, I could say, well, I'm going to exert this to keep drawing. But maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to keep those cards. So instead, you could exert by using your health. So I could say, you know what? I'm going to drop by 1, so bringing me to 8 health. And now I'll flip again. Aha, 2 successes. So am I happy with that? Well, I really want to get the 3rd one. Okay, well then I'll exert again. So dropping down to 7, and let's see what I get. Ah, good, perfect. I have 3. So beautiful. So now, yes, my health is at 7, but I do have that. So I would gain this card as a trophy plus 2 of those gems. So, I mean, you could take a die and say, these are gems. I have 2 now. So yay, this is now a trophy that I own. Okay, perfect. Now I would like to explore again, right? But if I started my turns, like if I took 1 action to go in the caves and 2 actions to explore, well then I'm out of actions, right? So my turn is over. So I'd go to somebody else, yada, 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 comes back to me. So I have 3 actions to spend. Now I could spend 2 of those actions to flip a card, and then I'd have 1 action left. So with that 1 action, I could exit the caves and go do something else. Or if I really want to keep, doing more turns in the cave, well, you're going to have to play like they do in Unbreakable Bonds in the fact that you can save an action. So you'd have a token here saying, this is an action that I can keep for an upcoming turn. Or if you don't want to do it that way, well, if you start your turn in the caves and you waste 2 actions to explore, well, then that extra action that you have is basically wasted. Or you could use that extra action to heal yourself. For example, here, I could try to roll some mountains or some wilds in order to bump that up back to 9. So anyway, let's pretend that it's a new turn. I have 3 actions to spend. I'm going to take 2 actions to explore. And we found a hazardous hive. Digging for gems, you stumble upon a series of holes in the ground. Recognizing it as a centipede nest, you know that you must now proceed with extreme caution. Okay, it's another strength test. So test strength to exercise your agility in navigating this tricky path. I'm going to get rid of these cards here. Okay, so if we get 0 success, suffer 2 damage, 1 success, suffer 1 damage, and gain trophy. 2 success, gain trophy and a gem, and 3 success, same as 2, but free explore. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. So 2 for my strength, so let me test this. Okay, I have 1. Okay, I have just 1. So if I stop here, I would suffer 1 damage, but I would gain that trophy. No, I think I'm going to push my luck. So I'll drop this down to 6, taking a wound, to continue drawing. Aha, 2. So I would gain a trophy and 1 gem. So you know what? Yeah, probably. Okay, let's do that. So I would gain this as a trophy. And I would gain a gem. And now I would have 1 action left, so maybe I want to try and heal for my last action. So let's do that. So I got to roll mountains or wilds. Okay, well, you know, I healed 1. Okay, not too bad. And now it's somebody else's turn. It comes back to my turn. I'm going to take 2 actions to flip that over. Aha, enemy. Your foe lunges at you from the shadows. You have no choice. You take up arms. Draw from the combat deck until you find an enemy. This enemy gains that special token there, the 2 skull token, for the entire combat. Okay, that's bad. Before engaging, you may explore to roll mountains to either remove the extra token or deal 1 unblockable damage. Well, this is where you would decide what you want to do. In any case, the reward here says take this card as a trophy, plus 1 gem, and any gold reward on the enemy card. Okay, so that would be, like, if you're good to fight, that would be awesome, because that's a lot of rewards. But sometimes what happens is you've been spending so much time in the caves that your health is pretty low, and when it's time to fight, you're kind of screwed. But anyway, so let's just look at some of these cards, because they're not all skill tests. Some of them are a bit more wacky, so I'll just put some on screen here to let you know what's going on. Mineshaft. See, this is just one that kind of screws with you. You come across a steep quarry littered with dead miners. You know not what evil decimated these dwarves, but what you do know is that gems remain for the taking. Oh no, actually this one is pretty good. So you've got 2 options. Take 4 damage to gain 2 gems, then discard this, or spend 1 action to discard this and explore again. So you would take, like in this case, what would I do? Take 4 damage? Well, that would take me down to 3. So maybe, yeah, so let's say, like, I want to gamble. So I'm taking this down to 3 to gain 2 gems. Okay, so 5 up here. And discard this. Okay, so I don't keep this as a trophy. It's gone. But then on my next turn, I'm probably going to, like, if I have 3 actions on my next turn, probably I'm going to say I'm going to take 1 action to get out of the caves. Because, I mean, I only have 3 health. Or, you know, you could say I take 1 action to try to heal myself, to continue exploring. Yeah, womp womp. So, 4 health, and then I'll take my 2 other actions to explore. Aha, meanwhile, your journey into these tunnels has greatly impaired your notion of time. Back on the surface, evil continues to spread across the land. It says if this is the first card you drew, draw another one. It's not the first we have drawn. So let's read this here. So discard this to explore the caves again, but draw a story card at the start of the next round. And at the bottom it says may result in 2 story cards being drawn. So this kind of like fast forwards the game, fast forwards time, because you've been just spending your whole life in the caves for no good reason. Or for a free action, you leave the cave immediately and discard this. So, okay, so what do you want to do? You want to move time forward but keep exploring the caves to get more of these gems? Or do you want to say, all right, I've done enough, so I'll discard this and I will leave the caves. So there you go. What else is in there? Twisting tunnels. You can just explore to see what you get. This one here is a quest. I like this one. John Wick's dog. Having stopped to rest, you are awakened by a young dog licking your face. Its collar is inscribed with the name of a long-retired hero, and clearly, this poor animal is lost. Keep this card, deliver the puppy to John Wick in Kelos's breath, then spend 1 action to receive 3 gold, and keep this card as a trophy. In the meantime, you may explore the caves again. So, there you go. Alright, I'm just going to flip through some of these, but I'm not going to read them. So you can pause the video if you want to see them. I actually redid this one in the computer. I was just too lazy to print it out. Same with this one. Same with this one. So your first question might be, does this make the game too easy? Too easy? No. Easier? Yes, for sure. I mean, my goal was to have you, get these wild trophies to get more skills to make you stronger, so game easier. Now, for sure, if you have a really good 2 or 3 turns in the caves, and by the way, you're not going to spend more than, 3-4 turns in the caves, really, because if you do, you're not playing the game, really. So if you spend a good 2-3-4 turns in the caves and everything goes perfect for you, yes, you will step out of there with like 3 trophies and a handful of gems and gold, and you'll be like, I am stacked and ready to go. But you know what? That's a good feeling. We like that. So there you go. On the opposite spectrum is a situation where you're spending 2-3 turns in the caves, but you're taking so many wounds in order to get the results that you want, because you're greedy, you want those trophies and those gems. Well, if your first turn, you really hurt yourself to get some stuff, and then on your second turn, you come face to face with an enemy or an ambush or a rock slide or something, yeah, that can hurt. And then you'll spend a whole other turn to just try and heal yourself. So it's possible. I've had games where I walk out of these caves after 3 turns of being greedy, and I'm like, I have a trophy and $3, and man, my head hurts, So that can happen. But I think it fits with the whole luck ratio that Runebound has anyways. I mean, you are chucking tokens, and you are flipping cards to, betting on if you're going to succeed or not. So I don't think it's more swingy than anything else in the game. But it is designed to make the game a tiny bit easier. There, I've said it. Now, as far as does this thing mix well with all of the scenarios and the expansions and all that, I have the Gilded Blade expansion and the Mountains Rise. And I have played the Margath scenario, Varakesh scenario, the Corpse King guy, Spider, Ariad, and the Plague Red Death thing. I have not played the other ones. That being said, I don't think that anything is gonna, not mesh well with this expansion. And, I've kind of padded my butt here with the fact that if somehow an event from one of these scenarios says, everyone on an uncivilized mountain hex takes 3 damage, well, my rules clearly say, while you are in the caves, you are considered to be on an uncivilized mountain hex. So you would take those wounds. There you go. Same thing if you're playing with like the roaming enemies variant that's on Board Game Geek, and I also have a video on that. You can check that out. But the roaming enemies would actually, like, if they come next to you or on your tile, they would like follow you into the caves and beat you up. So I think that it's going to work well with pretty much everything that has come out so far for Runebound 3rd Edition. If you find something that doesn't work, please let me know in the comments, and I'll probably fix it. So there you have it, the Caves expansion, Beneath Terrinoth. Try it out, let me know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one. And if you want some more videos, YouTube thinks you might like the one on the left. I personally think you might enjoy the one on the right. And if you want to make sure to never miss any of my videos, I would ask you to click the middle button here to, of course, subscribe.
Nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.